Good morning, folks. This is Greg Judy. It's a beautiful December day. We're looking at actually Christmas Eve day. This is the 24th, and the animals are coming into a new paddock this morning. they're all balled up here at the gate. There's a few going on. Anyway, I was going to show a little bit of what we're leaving. A lot of people ask, well, how do you know when you've got it grazed just right? And I wanted to show you, this is the farm that we're going to be leaving. We're not coming back here until spring. And there will be, probably 8 or 9 inches of grass in here. Green grass. But it is a good question. People say, well, my farm looks like a putting green at the end of the winter. And so you've really hurt your regrowth. And when you do that, in the springtime, especially when it all takes off growing, it's going to be a couple weeks. If you take it down too short, it's going to set you back at least 2 weeks of spring growth. So instead of grazing, let's say, April 7th, you've got good grass to grow, you may be looking at the 17th or later before that grass takes off. But this farm that we're moving them on to, this particular paddock, I shouldn't say farm, we're just moving them into another paddock. This one's been rested around 60 days. And we're on a 60-day kind of rotation right now, but folks, it's not always 60 days. In the springtime, it might be 25 days. In a summer drought, when you haven't had, when you haven't had any rain for gosh knows when, it may be 100 days. So you can't just say, well, Greg said to move them every 60 days. That's not going to work. It's going to be a wreck. Oh, look at them go. Think they're happy to be moving? I think so. Oh man, look at that. You got healthy cattle when they do that. Look at that. My God, they're so fat they can hardly run. Folks, there's Grandma, the 19-year-old cow that's had 17 calves. She's got a beautiful calf on her again this year. Man, they are flat getting with it. That bull's so fat he can't run. He trots. Man, they're coming through that gate though. They're still coming. But the beautiful thing about leaving some grass behind, folks, is if it doesn't rain and you don't get any rain at all through the winter, and let's say you have a fairly dry spring, if you leave some grass behind, you can always go in and get some of that, early spring, and it may keep you from having to feed hay. But once these animals go through here, I'm going to walk out into the paddock that we just took them out of. I'm going to do a close-up, so I want you all to see visually exactly what we're leaving. Won't be any guesswork. We're going to do a little bit of measuring with my finger, and I'm going to show you. And one thing you're going to see is the ground is completely covered. There's hardly any bare soil. There might be a bare spot where a foot made a pug mark, but we've got some really good cover out here, okay? And that's what you want. I love to see cows happy. And they're all bawling over there now because they've lost their calves. They're trying to find their calves again. They'll be shut up here in about 5 minutes. Favorite time of my day is moving animals onto a new paddock that hasn't been grazed for a good while. It's been allowed to clean up. And that's what's cool about rotating animals. There's a couple bulls jostling with each other. Actually, 3 bulls. They're still coming through that gate. Man, when they hit it, when they hit a hill, man, they flat get with it. I wouldn't want to be trying to ride one of them. Of course, I guess if you're a saddle bronc rider, that'd be a piece of cake. But man, if you fell off, that'd hurt. I never was a rodeo guy. Oh, look at that one. He's booking. It'd be hard to hold on. I think this is the last of them coming. Okay, come on through, bully. I'm gonna walk out here and show you exactly what we left. This is why I don't like gates. You gotta have a few, I guess. I put this in. This is part of the sheep paddocks, by the way. We had the sheep here about 60 days ago. But when you have a gate and it's muddy, you get that. But you know, it's not bad. Heck, it ain't. I mean, it's not even pugged. It's because we have smaller 1,000-pound cows. One of the things that we do, folks, this is a right angle turn. So your gate's in the middle. What happens is the cows come up through here, and if this little wire isn't in there, they see their buddies going down the opposite side of that wire as they come through. And the ones on this side over here, they take off running down this side of the fence. So Alex and I learned several years ago, put a wire up here. And Alex is now winding that up. Okay, you run it back about 100 yards, and your mob will hit that wire, and it guides them right through the gate. If you don't put that in, you're going to have 50 or 60 or 70 down in them woods, and they're going to keep going, following their buddies, thinking they can get to them. So anytime you have a gate in the middle like this, in the middle of your fence, to do that, it'll save you hours. Well, maybe 30 minutes, depending on how many cows you have. But this is what we left, folks. So one thing that I'm really adamant about, look at all the manure. My God, this is beautiful. Oh, this is the way nature did it for thousands of years. And everybody says that animals are destroying the planet. They're full of crap. This is literally crap. I didn't aim to make that exactly like that, but yeah. Look at our manure pads. That one's got a double pond on it. Look at that. It's got 2 ponds. You'd like to see at least one. That one's got 2. I'm going to take my foot and open it up. Ah, beautiful. Beautiful. Look at the seeds in there. Those are clover seeds. Okay? Clover being seeded by the cow. But if we, I'm going to stick a pin down there so you can see it in the camera better. So this is that's a 4-inch tall pin. Okay. So I've got grass. Well, it's up to, 3 inches? Around 3 inches of grass left there. But the one thing, folks, you don't want to do is get it so short it looks like a putting green, and the cows reach down here and take this off. There's what they call a tiller at the very bottom of that plant. And if those cows reach down and graze that off, I'll just pull that one. Okay, there's the root. I pulled it up. This is a Kentucky 31. Also, this first 3 inches right there, that's toxic. It's got a lot of toxin in it. So don't let your animals graze that part. Okay? But right up in here, right there on that plant, if you graze that off and take all those leaf structures off all the way down to the stalk, you're going to cost yourself 2 weeks. See, we've got good ground cover here. If we get some rain this spring, it's all going to grow back. It's going to hold the rain in place. And some of y'all probably heard me say it, and I'll repeat it. It doesn't matter how much rain you get. It matters how much you keep on your farm. It's your rain. Keep it. Keep it on your farm, and you can do that when you have this. Okay? If you graze it all off, let's just say it all looks like that. You graze all your litter off and your grass. Well, when it rains, it's going to be like a sheet of water going across the top of your farm, going down to your neighbor. And now he's got the water, and he may not want that water. You know, he may have enough of his own. It may flood him. You know, we're getting all this flooding now in the spring, and it's like, oh, we got to build more dikes and higher terraces and all this crap. How about getting some soil organic matter in our farming practices? You know, what's wrong with doing that instead of trying to build higher dikes to hold the water back? I think we need to get organic matter back in our soil and hold it on the farm so it'll grow more grass or more corn or whatever your crop is. In our instance, it's grass. But look at that. It's just beautiful. Oh, look at that. There's a little clover plant down in there. Okay. Oh, there's some more. It's got frost on its pumpkin. That's why we graze it. See that? It's turning brown. So that's how that clover's had enough frost on it now. It's pretty well gone, but you know what? There's seed. There's seed almost in every single manure pad in here. There's another one. There it is. There's my clover seed. Love it. I love playing in manure. Oh, there's another one. Yep. What a beautiful incubation site for new clover plants. Put it in a manure pad. Some people feed clover seed in their mineral. So when the cows eat the mineral, they're actually pooping out clover. But you get the gist, folks. Don't. If you look across this whole paddock, it all looks the same. It hasn't been overgrazed. There's a good bank of what we call ground litter left out here. And by golly, it's going to hold water. And we're going to start grazing, oh, probably at least 2 weeks ahead of our neighbors that don't rotate. In other words, they give their cattle the whole farm. It's buzzed off, looks like a concrete parking lot. And they're not going to grow any grass in the early spring. We are. Well, if you're feeding hay, you're feeding $40 a bale hay, and you're feeding 2 or 3 or 4 of them a day, and you can start grazing 10 days earlier in the spring, what's that worth? It's worth a ton of money. It's worth a ton of money. This is just beautiful. The sheep have really done a number on the browse back, the multiflora rose bushes. There's just hardly aren't any left. They just killed them. And this, I remember when we leased this farm. This is the back of the lifetime lease. Steve and Cindy, they're the owners, and I remember meeting them back here. This is the first place. Jan and I were back here building fence, and Steve and Cindy and their youngest daughter Bridget were walking across this paddock coming toward us. Folks, it was a mess. I mean, there was thorn trees, there was cedars, there was multiflora rose bushes, there was briar. You couldn't walk through it. Look at it now. I mean, it's clean. We still left the timber. We got really good deer hunting and turkey hunting back here. We're not going to take those trees out. We got our outdoor barn right down there. Those are the cedar groves. Cows can get in behind when it's really cold. And so, yeah, it's all, managed in sync with nature and trying to complement her as much as we can. Instead of getting up and trying to kill everything, we've learned to mimic and do our grazing management in sync with her. And with that, I think I'm going to sign off, and everyone have a great Christmas and Happy New Year's, and may your grazing always be good in the coming year. Take care.